Hey friends, how's it going? Today, we're doing some door speakers in the wife's Cadillac, 2013 Cadillac CTS. We're gonna be doing front and rear door speakers and putting some tweeters up in the dash, so this should be an exciting video. You may have seen in my Ford Focus, I put some Rockford Fosgate Prime speakers in, so we're actually doing the exact same speakers in my wife's Cadillac. We're gonna be putting in the 4-channel power pack, the Alpine. Cool thing about her car, she actually has the Alpine deck. This will mount to the back of that, making this super easy. Got a little amplifier install kit. We've got adapters for door speakers. We've got the wire harnesses. We've got the mounts for the tweeters up in the dash as well. Here's those speaker harnesses that we're gonna be using. Looks like the front, rear, and even the tweeter locations all use the same kit. These are the mounting plates that we're actually gonna be using to mount the tweeters in the dash. And then here's the door harness set or the door speaker plate set right here. I'm not sure how complicated that's gonna be yet, but I see there's a lot of screws and stuff in there, so we're gonna see how this goes. And for this video, we're only doing the door speakers. I'm not gonna install the amp. I'm gonna install that at another time. Today, I'm just gonna get these door speakers put in because I'm going to try just to bypass the Bose amp in here, so it's gonna have less cutting and splicing and wire running. I just have to figure out which wires those are gonna be, so I'll do some research so that way when I make that video, I can show you guys how to do it too. We are going to be doing the rear doors first, and we're going to be doing these coaxials here. And the coaxial just means that the woofer and the tweeter are all one piece. Like I said, I've used these before. They sound amazing. I love them in my my Focus, so that's why we've gone this route again with my wife's car, the Cadillac here. And inside each box come the 2 speakers with grills. We're not going to use those because those are getting mounted to the factory location behind the door panel. Comes with some wire we're not going to need as well. And then some mounting hardware we may or may not use, as well as the little owner's guide here, and you can track your serial number, date of purchase, all that stuff there. But we're going to go ahead and get this door panel pulled off so we can get these super awesome speakers put in the door. Okay, so on the back door here, right in here, there's this little cover that's covering a screw, so I'm going to use this pick, pop it in right back here behind this cover, and pop it out. I'm going to have to hold this handle open to do that, so I'm going to put the camera down. This is that cover. It's just got a couple of clips on the back, retainer clips that pop into some grooves in there, and then right inside there is just a Phillips screw that we're going to go ahead and pull out here really quick. And then, next thing we're gonna do is on the bottom of this handle, there's this guy here. We're gonna use our trim tool, and we're gonna kind of pop this thing off here really quick. And then we just kind of use this guy. I went in from the bottom along here to pry it in to pop it out. And then you just kind of get it all popped out. You gotta be careful on the back. There is a piece here that does retain it in there that you don't wanna break off. Now that we got this off, same thing, there's a screw here and a screw right there. We're gonna get those out really quick here. And I'll tell you, after these screws are out, the only thing that holds in are some clips, but this thing's a pain in the butt to pull off. You feel like you're gonna break it. What I did is I came to the bottom, here's where the speaker grill is, and right down here, where's a little area you could just grab, and that's where I just got my fingers in there and just pulled it as hard as I could, and that popped it loose. So now I can actually lift it off, but really what we gotta do is we gotta get to that speaker right there and get that thing pulled out here in a second. This is the factory speaker, the factory Bose speaker. We're gonna be pulling off this thing right here. There's just a plug there we'll unplug, and then just 4 screws that screw it on, and then we're literally just going to be screwing this replacement speaker back onto there and using the adapter for the plug. It's super simple on this one. And there is this insulation. We can just peel it back out of the way, like I said, and then really it's just 4 screws. It looks like they're the star bits, so you will need that, so I'll have to grab one of those really quick. Once we get that out, we'll probably use the exact same screws to bolt the new speakers in. Really easy to unplug. There's just at the front here that little black tab you push down, and then there's that plug disconnect. Like I said, just this little top part here. You push that down to get it under the little bar right there, and then it just slides out. They're a little T15 screw that holds those in, just so you know, but there it is. Replacing this paper cone speaker with a much higher quality speaker with the Rockford Fosgate we'll be putting in there. And like I said, we'll be bypassing that amp and putting in the Alpine a little bit later. Just a really quick kind of comparison of them. Factory woofer, no tweeter. You can see the Rockford Fosgates actually have a built-in tweeter, so they're going to have a much better speaker frequency range. And then these guys here, you'll see they're 40 watts RMS, which will be perfect for that amplifier that we're using. I'm not sure what the wattage is on the OE ones, but they're pretty good size, so they're probably right around there as well. But we are going to get much better sound out of this guy. This is that wire adapter. The door plug will plug into this side there, much like it did on that factory speaker, and then these guys here will just plug onto the back of that Rockford Fosgate on the spade connectors. There's that plug connected to the speaker side. Just be careful putting those on, just kind of wiggling back and forth until they slide over, and they're in there tight. They're not going to come out. Now we're going to mount this thing to the door panel and plug that speaker wire in and then reassemble the door panel. Something else I am doing, there's a surround that's on the factory speaker, but I pulled it off. I'm gonna mount that between this speaker and the door to give it a good seal. Otherwise there is like a little gap. I think you can buy new surround things that go on here. So when we put this on, we're gonna put that on there and mount this with that little ring around it, just like the factory speaker had, just to seal the speaker from the compartment. And that's what I'm gonna do. It's already got the grooves kind of notched out for the speaker mounts. I've actually got it on upside down. I need to flip it over. But that's exactly where it's gonna go on that panel there. And there we can see speaker mounted, plugged in. We just pull this part back over the top of the door panel here. And it is now time to reassemble. And there it is, first one done. Everything back down, I'll wipe down the door, make it look all good. The speaker is mounted, in there, ready to go. Now, I shared in one of my last videos, only like 6% of my video views actually come from my subscribers, and I appreciate you guys a ton that are subscribing, coming back, watching it, and those of you guys that aren't. But if you could, I'd appreciate a ton if you could go down below, hit that subscribe button for me. First rear door done, gonna go over to the other side, do the same thing really quick, knock that out, then we'll go up to the front door and show you guys how to do that one. I got that driver's side done, now I'm over on the passenger side rear door. Gonna do the same thing, it's the exact same process, super fast. We're talking like 5 minutes and you've got new speakers in your rear doors. I'm gonna get this one done really quick. I'll go up front and then show you guys how to do the front doors as well. Level of difficulty on that is like a 1. That's super easy. I said both doors, I mean, the first door took me a little longer because it was my first time taking it off. That second door, it was probably 5 minutes, 100% reassembled, speaker in. This is the Bose system in here, so it uses 5 1/4 inch speakers in the rear door. No brackets needed, just the wire adapter. Super easy, anyone could do that. I just got these back speakers put in. I can hear someone's listening to the radio already? What's going on here? Oh, guys! Look, guys, it's Mr. Pip. Hey, Mr. Pips, how's it going? Oh, look, man, you brought me a beer. Thanks, buddy. What a good boy. So Mr. Pip says it's break time. You know, it sure was nice of Mr. Pip to bring me out a drink here after finish those rear speakers before I start those front ones. What a nice guy. Mr. Pips is a good boy. Okay, front door of the Cadillac comes off the exact same way the rear did. There's gonna be this thing here, we're gonna use the pick tool to pry that out. There's a screw there. And then this part here, the bottom part, pops out just like the rear. Got some screws under there. This one's gonna kind of be back there. Screw there, screw there. We're gonna unscrew those, we're gonna grab the panel, and we're gonna pop it off. There's like 8 clips or whatever that hold it on. Exactly the same thing as the rear door, just a little bit larger. Okay, something a little unique. This guy here was attached to this door. I had to pry it kind of off the door. It wasn't hard. It's like held on by just like, I don't know, just the harnesses right there. They plug into this part of the door. That's what they were held on with. So you just pop those off and now this sets off to the side. And now we can get down to that speaker there. You got the door handle cable connection. You can remove that if you want, honestly. I'm just gonna leave it connected. But if you wanted to, you can squeeze the thing in here, pull it out, and there's just a little barrel thing that slides up. It's really easy to get these. I mean, not really easy, but it's pretty simple to get these off. It's just as easy for me to have it hang while I do this really quick because I'm just doing that speaker right there. So a little bit different setup on the front. The speaker is actually mounted to this housing here. So we're gonna pull out these little bolts here. I don't know what size those are. We're gonna pull those out and this whole assembly is gonna come off. And I think that's where we have to use that speaker bracket adapter to mount the new speaker. But we'll get these pulled out, see what happens really quick. Just in case anyone wants to know, it is a 1/4 inch is the size of these little screws here, these bolts. Once we got those 4 bolts, those 4 screws out, then this thing just unhooks. A tiny little magnet on the back of this Bose front door speaker here. And then same thing, just the plug right there, disconnects, and we'll get this thing out of here and figure out how to attach our new speaker brackets. For the front sound stage, we're going with a component set. So we've got the separate woofer, just like the factory woofer. There's no tweeter on it. It's made of much higher quality material. See a bigger magnet on there for better power handling. And then we've got a separate tweeter, which we're gonna mount these up in the dash at the front. So now we gotta figure out how to use that bracket to mount this to the opening where the speaker was mounted, but that should be pretty straightforward as well. just like with the back door, there is this adapter that plugs into that plug right there behind the door, and then that plugs into the rear of the speakers on the spade terminals. So that's what that looks like plugged in there. And then you just got the positive and negative wires that come off here again that plug onto the spade terminals on the back of the replacement speaker. And then this guy here, in order to make it work, you have to like line it up in a way that I don't think is a real thing. Like I've tried putting this thing on a million different ways. So it's got these little groove guys right here. That should probably line up with that. But no matter which way I've tried to align this, I can't quite find the right way to get it to be in here, because there's just, I don't know, maybe there's not a right way. I don't know. This might not be the right way to do it, but it's the way I've found to make it work. There was these little nubs that were on here. I broke those off, so now I can actually line this up to screw it on correctly, and it'll actually bolt to that, and then the speaker will actually mount to this plate. So I'm going to mount the speaker to this bracket really quick, and then I'm just going to screw the whole assembly onto this just like that. And just to kind of to show you, so on this thing, there's 4 holes that the speakers lined up with on the outside. 2 of them were already just kind of the way they had to be with the end right there. I had to break like a little flat piece off, maybe. No, I didn't. And those went on there. The other end, though, it's got this little tab on it that makes it so I cannot get the retainer, this little retainer clip, on there. If you flip it over, though, you see a line. Those are designed to be broken off. So I've got to break off the one there, and I broke off the one down here already, so I can put that retainer clip on there. Once those are broken off, I can mount the speakers to this bracket, which I'll show you here in just a second. Now these guys are bolted to this bracket, just using those little clips right there. It's really simple. And now we're going to attach this to the door panel. And then I ran into another problem now where there's this lip on the bottom here. So where this has to mount, the screw just touches it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull out those screws that are on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and screw the top 2 screws right there to hold it in place. I'm going to take a little drill then and go down there. I'm going to drill a hole through the plastic down here, so that way that screw has somewhere to go when it mounts the speaker to this bracket. Okay, so I've got these top 2 bolts in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here now where this was. I'm going to just drill a little hole right through there. And there we go. Driver's side door mounted, ready to get reassembled. And we'll go on to the passenger side, do the exact same thing we just did here. Just want to show you guys this passenger speaker really quick. It's obviously gotten some moisture down in the door or something. That magnet is ruined, and this speaker was making like an odd scratching noise. So that water's probably gotten inside of there to the voice coil, and that voice coil is probably all rusty too, which caused that scratchy noise. So it was definitely time to replace these speakers. Passenger side going much smoother than the driver's side, but the driver's side was me figuring out how to use this bracket. So you can see I've already got these 2 bolts kind of in place to hold it. This is where the speaker is going to mount to, and I've just got to put these 2 bolts in right here really quick. While I've got it out, I'm going to go ahead and drill this hole like I had to on the other side for the screw to go through the back side there. And this thing is literally ready to go. It's only been a few minutes. Super simple once I had that figured out. And really quick, there's the bracket. It's on there, tightened down, ready to go. I just got to hook the speaker wires up, and then I'm going to, like I said, go ahead and mount that speaker in there and then reassemble this passenger side door. There it is, mounted to the passenger side door. It's not going anywhere. It's going to sound awesome. So I'm gonna reassemble this now and then up to the dash speakers. Okay, next step is we're gonna put tweeters in the dash right there. In order to get that apart, we've got to pull out the A-pillar here. So I'm gonna grab my trim tool and start up here at the top, pry in here and get this popped off. And then I think there's like a couple straps down in here that hold it into place, but we're gonna find out really quick. Got some light. Okay, so I ended up just going up from the side right here. You can see there's a clip, pry it out, and now you can see there's this little strap thing that's holding it, and it's attached around this right here. It's kind of hard to see in there, and it looks like it probably slides off one way or another. I don't know if it actually comes off of this side there, or if it comes off on that side right there, but let me get that off really quick and I'll show you guys how to do that. In order to do it, we're gonna take the part off of the A-pillar. There's like a little tab I pushed up on or down on right here, and then now that's kind of out of the way. So you can see right there, this little tab on the back, I pulled down on that and it released it off of this piece right here and allowed that to come off, just so you know. Now I think I just pull it out the rest of the way. So there's the A-pillar trim pulled out. It wasn't too hard. There's that clip right there. It'd be easy to reassemble that. To do this, it looks like the whole front piece comes out together. So I've got to pull out the other A-pillar trim really quick as well, and then I should be able to get that off there. Okay, so we got both trim pieces off. Now it's time to pry out that grille and front dash piece. To get it, I started on the outside here. I popped this piece up, and now it's up enough that I can go all along the front here, pulling it out. Once you've got this whole thing popped up, there's a little wire harness right there. We got an unclip on each side, and this car does have a center speaker, so I might have to get something better to put there. And I am just gonna be replacing tweeters right over here, so that makes this actually probably a lot simpler than I had first thought it was gonna be. That wire harness looks like it's just for that light sensor thing that's in the center of the dash. You can actually move this out of the way without unplugging that, but to make it easier, I'm gonna go ahead and just disconnect that and pull this plug off so I can go ahead and pull this whole center dash thing out of the car here to make it a little bit easier for me to work on. So now you can see I've got the whole front center dash pulled out. We're gonna go ahead and do these tweeters first. To get the tweeter out, there's these two bolts on the outside. They're 9/32, so I'm just gonna use a small little ratchet and a socket to get those out. We're gonna unscrew those quick, and then it looks like this whole assembly will come out. It's on a plate right here. We'll pull it out and see what that looks like. I've got it unbolted, and now we pull it up. Oh, and look at that. It's just a little plug on the back, and that's what the adapter is for. So we're just gonna do the same thing as the others. That part there pushes in and disconnects, and here's the old tweeter. This car is still probably the easiest car to do this on. So the new tweeters, the Rockford Fosgate ones here, you unscrew the case they come in, this top unscrews, and you can get to it. You can see there's no screw hole, so it won't screw onto that. I could get crazy and glued on there if I wanted, but honestly, I got these little adapter brackets that will bolt right there, like perfectly. They go right there. That's what they're designed for. And these tweeter housings have two screw holes to bolt right onto there. So I just got to put that on there, drill a couple holes, and then it comes with the mounting hardware so I can attach it to that. So we're going to go ahead and attach it to that, get that all ready to go, and then we'll use these adapter plugs to plug into the factory harness. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut the wires, and we're just going to go ahead and splice those together using butt connectors, I think, to make this a little easier. I'm gonna take a drill, the little tiny drill bit, and I am going to grab my plate, grab my base. I'm gonna drill out a pilot hole and screw in one of the screws, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side to get this mounted to this plate really quick. So what I've done is I've got the one screw in there, and now I'm gonna go ahead and do the pilot hole for this other one and put that screw in, and it'll be mounted to this plate, and we'll be ready to get this thing put in the car. You know, there's a lot of different ways to do stereo installs. I just do what makes sense to me. I also, like Google stuff if I need to or watch YouTube videos, but this is a pretty straightforward install. Definitely an easier install than my Ford Focus even was. Okay, we got the plate mounted. We got the speaker in there. We're gonna get the top piece that screws onto there and holds that in place and put that together really quick. And there's our assembled little plate that we're gonna mount right in there. I'm gonna go ahead and get the wire adapter that plugs into there. I'm gonna cut it off and cut this off and splice those together. So when I put this in there, I can just plug that in right there. Here's the finished product, all butt connected together and heat shrink on there, adapter to plug in, and we're ready to go ahead and toss this thing in there really quick. And there is the tweeter mounted in the dash of the car right there. Look at that, looking all fancy. I just used the flush mount because it's a little bit shorter than the one that's actually designed to do this. This works just fine. All right, there we go, guys. Tweeters are in. Door speaker's done. I'm gonna button this all up, put it back together, and then the next video will be me putting the amp in and bypassing the factory amp. Overall, not a hard job to do in this car. One of the easier cars I've ever done a stereo in. I think, honestly, the hardest part was the tweeters, just getting those mounted to the plates and getting them put in, but that wasn't even that hard. So, super easy job. Honestly, these speakers sound amazing. That's why I've gone with these speakers now for a couple cars. I definitely recommend these Rockford Fosgate Prime speakers, especially the value, the price for the performance. It's amazing. This Cadillac sounds a million times better. It sounds amazing. I can't wait to get the amp hooked up and see how that sounds. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button down below, and until next time.